Welcome to a Tin Dog podcast. You're probably expecting my Bells of St. John review. Well, here it is. Fooled you again. It was fine. Thanks very much for listening. You know, bandwidth isn't free, so that's the entire review. What, you want a bit more than that? Well, first off, I'll say that I didn't see the prologue, and I didn't see any of the preview information, all of the little clips. And apparently there was about 12 minutes worth online, collectively. All those little tasters and teasers trying to get people to watch. Well, I was going to watch anyway, so I didn't really bother. Apparently there's something about a girl on a swing. All sounds a bit Amy Pond for my liking. So what about the story itself? Well, on the face of things, and this is just on the face of things, you're going to get a whole Partners of Crime vibe. And like most stories that introduce a companion, the thread itself isn't that important. Yes, we've had this companion introduced twice already, but let's not get sidetracked here. This, to all intents and purposes, is the very first story with Clara. Of course it won't be. The preview was, or perhaps a flashback in one of the weeks to come. But let's look at it this way. Like other stories, especially under Moffat's regime, the title gave away nothing. It was a random line taken from something that happened within the story. If Doctor Who episodes had Friends titles, this would be the one with the Wi-Fi. The Bells of St. John is something so obvious that me and everyone I know missed it. We just didn't figure it out, and the minute that TARDIS phone started ringing, I went, oh yeah, should have figured that one out, idiot. And like Partners of Crime, the storyline itself is so secondary. It's the romp, the journey, the ride, if you will. The aliens themselves, or the creatures or the invaders, the threat, shall we call it, is secondary. And rightly so, because this is about the relationship between the Doctor and the companion. This isn't all Doctor Who, we just have to accept it and move on. So much so that the opening sequence from this, the info dump, with the guy basically telling you exactly what's going on and exactly the plot, is kind of a bit surprising. It feels too obvious. There's no mystery. The mystery is how will the Doctor stop it, rather than the build-up and the mystery building. Episode 1, episode starts, we're given what's happening, people are dying, people are vanishing, people are having their souls sucked through the Wi-Fi. Oh look, the guy isn't giving us a warning, he's one of the missing two. We don't know where they're going. They don't know where they are. And once they're in there, they can be augmented and altered. That is very important. That is perhaps the most timey-wimey aspect, because Clara, Soufflé Girl, is given new information. She's given an upgrade. She now has better computing skills than the Doctor, second perhaps only to, say, Mel from the classic series for her computing ability. Yes, I was being sarcastic. So this person who's better with computers than the Doctor gets to hack Daleks. She wouldn't have been able to do that if she hadn't been given these skills in this story. She's already trapped in her own causality loop. The thing that attracted my attention through the story was the reference to Amy Pond. Amelia Williams had written the children's book. They showed it twice. It was much more important than we think. A nice gentle nod, perhaps, I just don't know. And as for who was the woman who gave the Doctor's number out, that could only be, well, the usual suspect of one. It has to have been River Song. So is this like another Disney princess, someone with a missing single parent, or perhaps both? Companions have had families. Perhaps this one's family will be different. Perhaps we'll find out very soon, because let's face it, family is at the centre of this kind of antics, whether we like it or not. She is a sensible girl, deciding to come back the next day to travel in time, rather than just going straight off with the Doctor, putting her affairs in order, something we've never seen before, something I quite like. There are lots of tiny, lovely touches in this story, things like her having a cup of tea and carrying it at all times, and it not spilling on board the aircraft. That, very nice touch. And as for the spoonhead monsters, well, let's face it, they were just the henchmen of the Great Intelligence. Now no longer Ian McKellen, but speaking with the voice of Richard E. Grant. Celia Imrie was brilliant. She's brilliant in everything she's ever done. I've yet to see a poor performance from this woman. She's just great. She can pull off comedy, she can pull off tragedy. She's just one of the most consummate performers going. Yes, there's been stuff laid down for the future, but that's because there are arcs. That's because we have got these things coming to us and we expect them. The mystery of the leaf, well, I'm sure that's going to be explained very soon. Little touches like all of her age, from 1 through to, well, her current age. One of the years was missing. Now, for those anoraks amongst us, the year that was missing was the year Doctor Who was on hiatus. A coincidence, I know, probably just a sign left there for us. Is she the embodiment, the spirit of Doctor Who? We've discussed these things before, and to be honest, it's probably just the sort of nonsense they put down for us. So she does have 101 places to go, and I'm sure she'll go there with the Doctor. Will she count them as she goes? Will 101 be the Dalek ship? So yes, a perfectly enjoyable introduction, but that's all it was. We've 7 more stories, and the Ice Warriors are coming to get us, and that I can live with. Now before I go, I just want to discuss Doctor Who magazine. No, I'm not going to discuss the enormous spoiler which appeared there, and then had to become some sort of press release with the BBC. No, I want to attract your attention to the letters page in the new Doctor Who magazine, number 459, the one with the Ice Warrior on the front. Page 10. The Star Letter, written by me. Yes, I've finally got into Doctor Who magazine. Hooray. And if I've got the bandwidth, I'll read it to you next time. So until next time, where I'll either be talking about an audio, a DVD, or indeed the next episode of Doctor Who, be seeing you. You've been listening to the Tin Dog Podcast. Doctor Who and its connected properties are copyright and trademark of the BBC. No infringement is intended. To contact the show, email tin-dog@hotmail.co.uk. Whostrology, a Time Traveller's Almanac, is available through Telos Publishing or Amazon. Visit www.whostrology.com for further information. The Tin Dog Podcast is a founder member of the Doctor Who Podcast Alliance.